Mr. Danquah, did you see this coming?
Good morning. From observations, no. But from the polling numbers, yes.
What do you mean if you say from observation, no, but from the polling numbers, yes?
What I'm saying is that if you look at what was happening around his campaign and the accusations they've been leveling against the establishment and how they are being treated, it wouldn't leave you to really not to think, say, he could come to this conclusion. But for the kind of race we're going to see, I didn't expect, say, that alone would have pushed him out. But on the polling numbers, you could see, say, following the superdelegate elections, when it became clear that the establishment are really against him, and people had Kennedy as their second choice, there was a ground shift in the numbers within the MPP delegates and in the MPP fraternity. So Ken cannot hold himself as the poster boy for the anti-establishment anymore. Especially when Kennedy threatened the president and Bawumia on live TV. And that really gave Kennedy Japan the impetus he needed to take over from Alan as the main anti-establishment candidate in this election. So that singular act of Kennedy Japan, together with his outburst in the past, reassured people who were not confident about his candidature to really gravitate towards him. And we have seen that in the polling numbers in recent times quite significantly.
Do you also believe, sir, the way Raymond has brought another angle to the conversation. He was handled by his handlers throughout the process, probably might have had any impact on the decision that he took to withdraw from the race.
I'm not a media person to know his engagement with the media and how his campaign has been treating the media. So I'll not be able to comment on that. We rather focus on things that have numbers that we can use to justify what has taken place. That could be a factor in the sense that he was not able to probably articulate himself very well to the Ghanaian voters and indeed to MPP delegates, and probably not convincing enough to assure them that he will provide them with the alternative that they needed. And beside that, you see, he's been part of the government for several years, and it was difficult really to disentangle himself from the government performance. And that was going to be very difficult anyway. And that situation left Kennedy Japan as the sole main contender that could really take up the government. And he was doing that, and he was getting numbers from that attack of government.
What happens to the race now? Sisi Ayeka say Oral and Chamating was what withdraw is now left with the 4 candidates here. See if you Musah withdraw from now up until November 4th, for the elections. How are the numbers likely to be come November 4th?
Up till yesterday, we were doing some polling of delegates. And as of yesterday, no candidate has crossed 50%. As of yesterday. So whatever happens from today, if we're going to continue with different polls, depends on the distribution of Alan supporters. Would Bawumia benefit from the fallout of Alan withdrawal? If it does benefit from Alan withdrawal, in the sense that there are some MPP delegates who were thinking of voting for Alan, but now with him not there, they vote for Bawumia, then Bawumia is likely to edge Kennedy using Alan supporters. But if Alan supporters decide to gravitate entirely en masse to Kennedy, then we are in for showdown, as he promised.
So as we speak now, per the polls are none of the candidates has crossed the 50% mark.
Absolutely.
But what will be one of the key things if indeed say obi biara person odin within the race, I was so here now that one of the key leading members here in the race who edia free mono, if any of the two contending members, Yemfane say Ora Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Ken Ohene Ejapong per se Udin Kunim in the November 4th elections are, what would they need to do?
Hey, to be very honest, this is a question we don't like to ask. We don't like to be asked. But because we don't want to be seen to be advising anybody. But you could see, say, a battle between the establishment and anti-establishment. Now, if you are anti-establishment candidate, then you must find a way of attacking the establishment without painting the whole system so black that in the end, if you win, you have a problem convincing others, say, we should vote for you. They are in a very delicate situation. And then, if you don't do that too, people will think you are oblivion to what is happening in the country and within the party. You must be somehow brutally honest, but measured in your attack of the establishment. And if you are the establishment, you must give people hope and confidence that things will be different or things will get better. Now, the question is, if they believe in the hope, then they will stick with you. If they don't, then they will gravitate towards the anti-establishment.
So it promises to be a tight competition if indeed Nipa for Noa Akano and your margin is Ombeko on November 4th.
Honestly, it will depend on how Alliance supporters behave. Can you imagine?
So let's take, for example, a scenario like if Alliance supporters decide not to go to the polls on November 4 to vote, what is likely to happen?
Then Bawumia will win. As simple as that.
All right, Musah Danquah, me no wasi anopay. Say, we now only